Hey, everybody, welcome back to the High Performance Zone. Today we have Simon Severino. We're coming from Vienna, Austria. He wrote a book called Strategy Sprints. And let me tell you, this podcast is a sprint. There's going to be a lot of good information in there. What I was taking away is a couple of things. First, this powerful mantra that he says every day while he's running in the morning, and that is the earth, carry me, water, heal me, fire, transform me, air, set me free. And I love that because I think that really ties into the rest of the podcast, which is a very, very specific way in 90 days to not only double your revenue, but to increase the joy and happiness in your life. We go into strategies of not only a CEO, what are the 3 things a CEO needs to do, but really every single person. So let's dive in with Gucci and Sprinter. Ready? Hit it. All right, Simon, welcome to the High Performance Zone. Hey, we just tagged you the Sprinter, and I know that fits exactly. So your call sign now is a Sprinter. I know that fits exactly in what you do as a business. But first, I just want to say thank you and welcome to the zone.
Hello, everybody. I'm so pumped to be here in the zone. And yeah, most people call us the sprinters, and I guess we will unpack that over this episode.
Yeah, call signs are a big thing in fighter pilots, and you guys are the sprinters. We'll dive into that. First off, love your accent. Where are you coming from today?
I'm an Italian who is in Vienna, Austria.
There's a great combination. First off, 2 great places. My wife and I were heading to Italy and Greece this summer, so we can talk offline about making sure we do it right. But hey, just give me a little quick backdrop. I'm blown away with your company and what you do for so many people. But give me a quick backdrop of what you currently do, and then we'll dive into your background. Does that sound good?
Sure. So you said sprinter, and the sprinters, these are maybe 2% of the world. And those 2% are, first, utterly unemployable. And they hate meetings. If you invite them to a meeting, they go, how can I get out of this thing? They prefer to do stuff, to build stuff, right? And they are amazing if you let them build stuff. But we live in a world which is organized according to the old paradigm of industrial production. So we basically organize stuff around people not creating wonderful stuff, but just, functioning in society in a way that doesn't harm anybody, and just be a little bit boring and move on. And so the sprinters in this environment, how do they feel, right? They feel like, oh my God, I'm trapped. And so sometimes they don't even know it, but there is a sprinter inside of them. You strip that old context away from them. You let them build stuff. Hey, they thrive. They find their purpose and their meaning, and they are happy, and they're super productive. Maybe you would even think, oh my God, these people are lazy. No, they're just in the wrong context. And then in the right context, they are so productive and happy and inspiring and inspired. So these are the sprinters. But how did I get?
No, I love it. I love where you're going. I see them all the time. But give me an example of somebody who you classify as a sprinter, real live example you've worked with.
Entrepreneurs, the real entrepreneurs, the people who, if they have a choice, first of all, they go through the world and say, I don't think this is the best solution for it. I can't imagine there is a better way of doing this. And so it starts with an irritation. They're pissed off about something. But how do they solve it? Jerry Seinfeld is one of those. How does he solve it? He writes a piece about it.
Right.
He rants about it in a 1-minute piece, and that's his piece for the day. That's his thing. Other sprinters, they create something else, a 20 lines of code, or a video, or 200 words. Hemingway was a sprinter. He would create words. He would create magic with words, right? Some of those write codes, some write words, some record videos, some give speeches. They have all different ways of doing it, but the main thing is they go through the world and say, this doesn't make sense. Let me try something better. And now sprinter or non-sprinter, that's the difference, because the sprinter, they don't want to talk about it with 16 other people. They don't want a meeting about that. Okay. They want to do it. So let me try something, all right? And then so I try it, I build something, and then they test it, and then they come back. This is what the sprinter loves.
So tell me, where did you, obviously you're a sprinter. I can feel it in your energy, right? Where did that come from? Give me your background and how you got to what you're talking about.
I don't know where this comes from, but those people listening right now, they know exactly who they are, right? I knew that I didn't fit in anything when it started with university. What should I study? I don't know. What should be my job? I don't know. Is there a job out there that you want to do? No, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a lawyer. No, doesn't make sense. So what does make sense? I don't know yet. I will find out. Right. I have to find out. So just give me some time. And I started something just to have time to find out. And so, but I did find out much later just by doing stuff. So I tried being in big corporations, small corporations, in front, in the back, in a huge team, in a small team, in a lot of meetings, in something that is completely individual work, solo. And so it took me 10, 20 years. And then I got it as, oh, this is my setting, right? And now I found my setting. But it was a long journey for me. I hope people are faster in finding that. For me, the role was entrepreneur, building stuff. And so I run strategy sprints, which was myself being a consultant. Mm-hmm. And then I became the bottleneck of that. So I was just helping people have better go-to-market. Because it's a vital thing. I love it when sales numbers go up. I love it. I love that energy, that momentum that you have when you have people getting it right in the sales, and then you hear their ching, and everybody's happy, and they go, oh yeah, it was a great week. I look forward to next week. Let's crush it even more next week. That's the atmosphere that I like. So I focused on go-to-market because that's where the ching happens. So it's a vital topic. It's a cool topic. For me, it's a happy topic. And so, and I can motivate, and I have the power to teach that, to motivate that. And so I did that for around 14 years. And then,
Simon, real quick, let me interrupt you, and then we'll catch up. Is what I noticed is you weren't afraid to try something new. From that quick description, you had tried so many different things. What allowed you to move from one job or one experience to another and not get stuck where you were?
Failures and falling in love. These are the two moments where I learned something.
Failures and falling in love. Good.
Yeah, like there are only two things. Failures happen all the time. Every hour I have some form of failure. I try a CRM, it's the wrong one. I hire people, wrong people. And then I hire people, great people, but then after 2 months, I lose them. So failure happens all the time. I create a video, nobody needs it. So failure, I have like 5, 6 failures every day, and I learn from that, right? In a negative way. Okay, nobody needs this. Okay, I learn from it and move on.
How do you learn from it? Because we have a process we call the debrief, but a lot of the debrief is also self-reflection. You're doing that all the time. But how do you move so quickly? Because I agree with you, I'm constantly off. I'm constantly making mistakes and correcting for them. How do you do it?
Yeah. So if you want to describe it, it's a loop. After action review, what was the assumption? Mm-hmm. What did I do? What came out? What's the gap? So what? This would be the 5 steps. But I don't do a formal after action review with myself. But you just feel it, right? It's like when your kid is grumpy and it's 2 years old and they go, papa, and you try first thing, do you want a banana? No, okay, they're not hungry. And then, let's look at the clock. Okay, it's the time. It's time to sleep for them, right? And so that's how it's more an inaction thing, but it's really 5 steps. Observe, try, measure, and then validate or invalidate your assumption, and then action again.
Yeah.
So that's the loop, but it happens more in a natural way. So I try stuff, doesn't work, move on to the next. And as soon as something works, that's the part that I call falling in love. You feel it. When something is right, you feel it. Yeah. Your body knows it, right? And so that's why experimentation is important and discovery is important. You move through different landscapes, and when you are in the right place, you feel it. Everything is in line.
Give me how you describe the feeling, because I agree with you. I've been there. I feel it. You feel like you're in the zone, but what does that feeling feel like to you?
You know, you are full of love, of courage. You are totally focused, and everything else doesn't matter. So I forget the time. I forget to eat. I forget everything. I have to check myself. Oh, wait a moment. Let me look at the calendar. What's my next meeting? Where am I late again? Because I'm so much in the now.
Yeah.
I'm just in the zone, right? It's a peak state, right? The flow zone. The athletes call it flow. I'm just in the state right now, in the zone.
I like what you said about love and courage. Those are two very powerful words, right? When you feel that you're doing something that not only you're meant to do, because you know that you found your passion, but you also have the courage to take action, right? And that's what I'm hearing you say. It's not enough just to be fluffy in here. You're moving, you're action. I think about when I was flying the jets at 1,000 miles per hour. I'm thinking, but I'm also not thinking. I'm reacting so fast that I'm in this constant state of awareness, but also just being present. How do you block out distractions? Because we all get distractions, right? So when you're in this zone, or even if you're not in the zone, how do you block out distractions?
Oh, I have a daily habit, weekly habit, and monthly habit, and they are part of the strategy sprints method. So that's what I do, and that's also what I share in the book with people.
Hold that up again. I want everybody to know. So the book, you just released this, right? Strategy sprints.
Yeah.
12 ways to accelerate growth. Everybody, you got it. This will be in the show notes. Got to get a hold of this book. Simon, let's dive into that. You said there's 3 things every CEO needs to do.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about those first. What are they?
In reality, most of the things are out of our control. There are really just a few things that are in our control. We don't control the sales numbers. We don't control hiring. We don't control supply chains. We don't control the markets. We only control 3 things. Daily habit, weekly habit, monthly habit. The daily habit is this is what you always control. This is what you can control. Whatever the weather is, whatever the market is. Right now, the markets are red, supply chains are broken, but these 3 things are always in your control. Daily habit. How do you allocate your time? So I write down, I have a template. People can download it on strategysprints.com. I call it a daily flow. I write down the flow of my day every day. And I have it on my iPad right now in front of me. And it says, okay, Simon, this is how you spent your time today. And it's a simple list of things, but it says that I was running at 6 and then I had meetings. I had some deep work in the morning, and in the afternoons, I had interviews. And then I will spend time with my kids and with my family.
Beautiful.
That's the flow.
Yeah, the flow. Now, how does that differ than a calendar? I'm working off of my calendar here, right? Which is also a flow, but you're describing something a little bit different. Tell me what.
Yeah. What? You have the hard landscape, and then you have the flow in between, the freedom. Nice. You have a hard landscape and you have freedom. Calendar is the hard landscape. What's in the calendar is sacred, right? If it says meet John, you are going to meet John and you are going to be on time. So that's the hard landscape.
Yep.
And I hope your day is not full of hard landscape, because otherwise you are in prison.
Beautiful point. Yeah.
You're in prison, right?
The more you got meetings back to back, you got a problem that day, right? Your energy gets sucked and all this. So keep going. How do you make sure that hard landscape doesn't overtake your soft landscape? Go for it. You're on it.
Yeah. And remember, we are sprinters. So we don't like to be boxed in. And we do this for freedom. We are freedom people.
Nice.
And so when the sun shines, I don't care about meetings. I want to get out and run 3 hours somewhere, or bike, or swim, or play with my kids, or and if it's rainy, okay, then I want to do more work somewhere. Yeah. And I pick even one of the top 3 of tomorrow because it's raining anyways. So that's the dynamic part. And so the calendar is for the hard landscape. But when I do this exercise, the first thing is I check the calendar. Okay, what's the hard landscape? I have an interview on the performance podcast. I have an interview on entrepreneurs. This is things that you have to write down there first. But then you have the in-between. And in between, I think, okay, what does give me energy? How do I replenish the energy? It's a mix of working out and working in. What takes energy, what gives energy. And so I create a balance. It's about balance. It's some things are sprints that are short workout bursts, and some things are between sprints. What do? You recover. And the recovery is usually longer than the interval. You run fast for 400 meters, yeah, but then you have 3 minutes of break because you need that regeneration. That's when the muscle actually builds.
Right.
So it's just the impulse, but then the magic happens in the regeneration. So you need a good flow of things over the day. Otherwise, you will not be around very long in the entrepreneurial game. And so I never had a burnout because I'm aware of these things, and I don't just do push. I have a good flow, and so I can have high intensity years, but I don't burn out.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hit workout, a high intensity workout. You work out hard and then you recover, just like you were saying. And I like the way that you do that in your life and every single day. So tell me, let's get a little more granular on this flow. How much time should be allotted for freedom, right? And how do you balance when you have, a lot of things you have to do / some of those become meetings versus what you just talked about, working inward, replenishing yourself? Give me a little more granularity on what you've learned over time.
I can tell you mine, because everybody has to create their flow. Depends on their age, how many kids they have, how old their kids are, and what's the weather, etc. But the principles are simple. Make sure you have some me time first, especially if you have kids. Make me time the first thing in your day. Whatever the length is and whatever is good for you, do it. For me, it's before everybody wakes up, I was running in nature for 1.5 hours. That's what I do every day.
Nice.
Before anybody wakes up.
Where do you live in Vienna?
Enjoy.
Hey, where do you live in Vienna? Where are you running?
I run in Schönbrunn Park, which is a park with a beautiful castle. And it's a huge park with a ton of trees and nature and beautiful. It's really nice to be there. Animals, flowers, it's beautiful.
See, I love the way you just described that. The reason I asked you, besides I love Vienna, it's such a classic town, it has so much history and beauty to it, but you just described it in a way that was real for you, getting out there in the park and that castle. I could picture the castle, by the way, you're running by things. So as you're running, what are you thinking about?
I have a very simple meditation that I ask myself. I say, Earth, carry me.
Nice.
Water, heal me. Fire, transform me. And air, set me free.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Simple.
I usually wait to the end of the podcast to get what I call mantras, or life's, but you just nailed it. So let me repeat it, because I thought that was so dang cool. So earth, carry me, right? Water, heal me. Fire, did you say inspire me?
Transform me.
Transform me. Fire, yeah, transform me. And then air, free me. Did I get it?
Set me free, liberate me. Yeah, yeah.
That's a beautiful mantra. I love that. Where did you get that?
I learned it from some shaman somewhere. I forgot who the source is.
Yeah.
But you feel it's universal, right?
Yeah.
There are 4 elements. They are everywhere. And so I connect with them on the outside because I become aware. By saying that, I become aware that there is water. I'm running on the earth. So I connect to the earth. And while you connect to the outside, of course, you connect also to the inside of you. I have also earth in me, right? And so I connect to the part, I activate the earth energy in me, which is the grounded energy. And then I activate, but also the water energy, which is more receptive and is important for healing, right? Otherwise, I'm just in my main element. My main element is fire and air. And so I go back to balance. And that is a life principle for me. It's about balancing out all the elements, right? And so I start the day with that. That's my me time.
It's beautiful.
I come back, I'm a bit more grounded, more centered. And then I play with my kids because now it's breakfast time for them and bringing them to school, etc. Then I start working, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's deep work up to lunch. There are no meetings. Nobody can book me for a meeting. Nobody will get time with me. And everybody knows it. All my team is defending that time. And because it's deep work. Now I have to do, that's the courage part. Remember we said courage and love?
Yeah.
Now I have to show up for the people I care about, who I'm here to serve. And those are the sprinters worldwide who are running a company. They are having a tough time. It's pandemics, it's broken supply chains. It's tough to close big deals, to have reliable sales. And so I want to go to the toughest things and do that in the morning. So I will pick one problem and solve that for sprinters until it's solved. So then it's 12. And then after lunch, the different energy. This was all deep work alone. Now I go into another form of energy. It's heads up work, heads together work. It's more of a sparkling energy, like right now. You exchange ideas and you get new ideas, and everything is a little bit, this is more of an air energy and fire energy. And that is sparkling and that creates ideas. But of course, I get nothing done. I'm just talking and being inspired and inspiring. But a day for me is a good day when I had both. I have created and shipped something and solved real problems. And in the afternoon, I've also connected and listened and talked and all this more creative stuff. And then the day for me, I have defined when I stop working. That's 6 p.m. because then I will either cook or enjoy my kids and play with my kids while my wife cooks. And then it's just family time. And also there is a flow of what we do and what we enjoy doing.
I love
so it. That's a day.
Yeah. Now I'm glad we unpacked that. I hope everybody who's listening, thinks about that. You can modify this to your day, but it's important to get a flow, right? A flow that works for each person. Let's go into the weekly flow then. What's next?
Yeah. The daily flow ends when you now reflect. So 5 minutes, you just reflect back. What did I do today? What will I delegate more tomorrow? And because you always, as a business owner, it's not enough to have a great day. You have also to scale your magic. So you have to get rid of stuff that was not ideal for you and that you have completed and now you hand it over to others. That's how you scale your business.
And that's a really critical point, because I got to be honest with you, I'm not that good at that. I could, use your help, and most people can. I'm working on it, right? But the idea of your own personal mastery, what you've been able to accomplish, what you just talked about, I love the idea that you reflect though, and you say, okay, if I was doing something where I don't feel that passion, right? I'm not in that flow, that zone we talked about earlier. How do I delegate that or scale that, right? And you're saying that you do that. At the end of the day, you reflect. And then what do you do when you come up with something that says, I think we need to find someone, let's say curriculum design, someone to really do a great curriculum. So what's your next steps on that when it's not you that needs to do it?
That's why the daily flow is asking me of all the things that you did to do. Like, this is my day today, literally. That's the daily flow, right? And it's asking me, all right.
What does team mean on that flow?
Oh, my team meeting. I met my team.
Okay, so you do have a team meeting in the morning.
That it happened outside of the rules. Yeah, sometimes I don't stick 100% to my rules, like probably everybody. And that's why you need this to get back on track, right? Hey, let's review. And where did I fall off my own program, and how do I get quickly onto my program again, right?
Beautiful.
Sometimes you have to take compromises because other people need that time, or it's a time zone, or is it's an emergency. Then, okay, I will come into your needs, but then I will also make sure that I come back into my flow. But it's not, just robot and I do my thing, whatever happens. I'm embedded in a system of other people. And so I also take care of that. But then this will ask me, of today's activities, which one could be done by somebody else even better?
I like that question.
And this is when you start writing down, okay, oh, well, today what I really hated was that CRM thing. Oh, can somebody else please do that? Okay. And when you see that coming up once, maybe you forget it. But when you see it twice, 3 times coming up in your evening review, now you will start doing something. That's why it's important. And the second question asks me, Simon, if you lived more intentionally and more freely, what would you do? Oh my God, I always wanted to write a book. My wife is mocking me. It's 10 years that I have this book, how to write a book, and I've never did it.
Yeah.
So these are the 2 reflective questions. And that's important that's why it's a daily habit.
Let's say that again, because I think they're so incredible. By the way, it reminds me of Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits. Did you ever read that book?
Yes, I loved the book. Yeah.
I love your take on it. So what are the 2 questions you reflect on again?
The only problem with the 7 habits was I couldn't remember. 7 is too much. I am much simpler. He's a genius. I'm a simple guy, right? I'm a practical guy. I'm a CEO. And so I need 3. I can remember 3 things. I cannot remember 7 things under pressure. So I run with 3.
I love it. But I love simplicity. It's hard, right? It's hard to make things simple. That's the magic. Give me those 2 questions again. I want to make sure everybody understands those. And by the way, go to your book, go to your website. I'm sure they're there. But what are those 2 questions again?
Yeah, of all the things that I did today, which one could be done tomorrow by somebody else even better? It's the delegation question. You need this. If you run a business, you need to multiply yourself, and you start by scaling each task, and then you scale departments, and then you scale businesses. But it starts with the daily habit of you realizing what's the next thing to delegate.
Got it. And then the reflection about you.
If I lived more intentionally and more freely, what would I do tomorrow?
And
so if you realize book, then okay, you will put a task in your flow of tomorrow. So that's my flow of tomorrow. And then I would say, okay, 6, I go running, but hey, I need to write a book. So, all right, 8, after breakfast, 8, I will write my first 20 words.
There you go.
Of course, you make it small. If you want it to really happen, you make it very small so that you don't have fear. You just do it. 20 words, everybody can write 20 words. And when I do that, I increase the goal, right?
Nice. Yeah.
It's the daily habit.
Love it.
People can download it at strategysprints.com. There is the iPad version and there is the spreadsheet version. The spreadsheet version I do once a month because it calculates with you which tier of tasks. We have 4 tiers. The real CEO task working on the business, and the more admin task working in the business. And then there is stuff in between, technician work and improvement work, which is, it's important for you to see how much are you spending working on the business versus in the business, because we coach CEOs, business owners, they have to be aware of that. And we are their sprint coach. So we need to do this with them, review how much are you working on the business versus in the business.
Got it.
Then the weekly habit is, all right, give me my main numbers right now.
By the way, real quick, have you ever been to Tony Robbins' business seminar?
Yes, I have.
Yes, because he talks a lot about that too, working on the business versus in the business. I think it's a huge point that CEOs really learn. And it's one that I'm learning because I'm trying to shift from working in the business to working on the business. And that's a progression, right? So if there's one thing you could tell me or anybody out there who is working really hard in the business. How do you make that shift?
It's exactly the daily flow. You write down what you did today,
Okay,
and then you see, okay, what took energy?
Yes.
What did you hate
Right.
doing? What would you love to get off task? If somebody else could do it for you, which one would you pick?
Beautiful.
That's the first thing, because you have to be ready to give it away. And the second thing is, which of these tasks did really move the needle forward for the whole business versus which one just improved a project or a task versus it really moved the whole business forward. So I was talking to a big joint venture partner that moves the whole business forward versus I was doing CRM entry. Yeah, maybe that's just a part optimization, right? Not the whole business.
That's good advice. Thank you for that, for everybody. Okay, so are we ready to move to the weekly now? Because remember, there's 3 things, right? And we just
so weekly.
Yeah,
I want to know weekly if we are crushing it or not, and are we moving in the right direction at the right pace? And how do we know? We know if you show me a dashboard with 3 things: our marketing numbers, sales numbers, and operations numbers, and I want to see them go up. So it's a very simple spreadsheet that we have created for our clients, and that spreadsheet has 3 visualization, 3 graphs. And so you pick your marketing number. There is a list of marketing KPIs that you are allowed to pick, and there is a blacklist that you are not allowed to pick, because we have 21 years experience in this. If you measure the wrong things, you will get the wrong outcomes.
Yeah.
So we give you a list of the allowed marketing numbers. And for example, a number of people who were on your website this week, or number of people who are interested in working with you this week, of number of conversations that you have started around your core passion this week. Those can be marketing numbers, for example.
Okay.
And so you see your target per week and your current per week. It's just 2 lines, a red line and the blue line. And you see, okay, my target is to have 7 marketing conversations per week, and I am at 5. All right, I got to do something here. And there is no right or wrong. There is only your number right now. And the goal is next week it will be higher, at least 1% higher. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. From sprint to sprint, which is 7 days, it must be higher. We want to see it going up. And it's natural, because when you look at some, you want to see it going up. That's just how we are built as a human being.
Yep.
If it goes down, it doesn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
And so if it's an important number, right? And so then the sales numbers, number of sales calls, percentage closed, and dollar number. How much did you close in deals? Is it 17,000, 25,000, 38,000? These are the 3 sales numbers. There is not much to discuss there.
Mm-hmm.
And then operations numbers, number of happy clients, number of pissed off clients. How many hours did it take for you to turn a pissed off client into a wow client who is happy again? Because you heard it, you implemented it, you came back and said, I heard you, I improved it, here is the improved version. Maybe it was 6 hours. Write down the hours. How many hours did it take for your team to turn that pissed off moment into a wow moment?
And let's talk about that, because I love the word, the wow moment. So what does that mean to you when you say create wow moments?
Yeah, feedback is really important. And there is no negative feedback actually from the client, because if you pick it up quickly and you act on it and you come back and say, I heard your feedback, I took it seriously, this is what I did to improve it, and this is now the improved version. That was actually not even a bad thing that happened. Right. It was a very good thing. They improved your product for you.
Right.
They told you what to improve. So they did your market research, if you want, and your product improvement.
Yes.
So, and it's really important, and we want wows. So the first thing is to always ask for feedback. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. The more you ask, the better you can get.
Yeah, we call that, by the way, the glad to be here debrief. We're going to do that, you and I, really quickly at the end of this. But it's getting feedback in a way that gets people to be open and honest, to lay it on the table, to feel safe, to say whatever they need to say, right? But keep going. I love it. So feedback is the gift. I love that.
Yeah. And the other part is the wow. This is one of the 274 blueprints that we have for our clients. One is shorten the time to wow. So it's a 3 steps process. It's quite simple. We ask you, okay, in your business, if I work 3 months with your service or product, what changes in my life? what's the magic?
Mhm.
And then, for example, one of them said, well, the magic is they use our product and then they are a small business, but it feels like it's a big business. It's professional. They have a professional marketing like a big business. All right. That happens after 3 months. How can we make a small taste of it happen in the first day? Oh, that's hard. Okay, let's workshop, right? It's 1 hour brainstorming. And we came out with the idea to have templates ready. So first, their client onboarding process was, welcome to the free trial. Please upload your CSV file. They lost 80% of people. People don't know what is a CSV file and they don't care. You lost them. Now the new process was, hey, welcome. Please, I see that you're a flower business. Here we have 3 images of a flower. Pick one, click. Here we have 3 swipe copies that you can send. Pick your favorite, click. Here we have 3 call to actions. Pick your favorite, click. Now send it, send. And then congrats, you sent your email. And now look how beautiful it is. It's professional, like a big brand. And they got the wow experience right there. Instead of uploading a CSV file, they had the wow experience. Now comes an email that says, and now that you had this great experience, what about we teach you a couple things how you can create even more wonderful communication with your people. So tell us, who are your people? Can you please upload your people here? And then in brackets, it's called a CSV file. Please take the CSV file to do that. But it's a different experience now, because you have the wow, you're feeling the magic, and now you say, okay, I'm going to upload something.
Yeah.
A small tweak that changed the experience. It created a wow. Now it's easier. Of course, the conversion rate from free trial to client watch now much higher. Of course, when they start that way, you can cultivate that energy. You can ask them, who else needs this? Day 3 comes an email, who else needs this? And they will tell you. And then you create a very different experience from there. And when you have that experience, it's easier to retain them. So you will have less churn, less losing people in the delivery. And you will have more upsell and cross-sell opportunities because they're happy.
I love the question, who else needs this? So yeah, they're telling you, they're saying, hey, they're actually marketing for you, right? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
yes.
keep going.
The referral system. That's the second system of those 274 systems that we have for our clients. The second one is you need a referral system. And the first question sets the expectation. And then later on, depending on the customer journey and customer experience that we map out with you, you will ask them again and again, because of course you can create, of customers, you create super fans, and those super fans, they will refer people to you. And that is one of the revenue systems. It's not enough, but it's one of them, and it works well.
Beautiful. Was that the, I kind of cut you off. I felt like you were about to say something else, or is that the what you want to get across?
This is how we work in the strategy sprints method. So you get a sprint coach, your whole team is in there. And then even if you're a solopreneur, it's you and your sprint coach, but we map out your whole business. We simplify it with you. You do your daily work. So you identify what you want to delegate next, what you want to automate next, what you want to outsource next. And so week by week, you get rid of stuff that is not your zone of genius, and you have more time to work on the business. Now, we will free up 10 to 14 hours per week of your time in the first month, because we want to work with you on this form, fit, and function of your sales process, form, fit, and function of the operations. We start with operations. We say, okay, how can we create even more wow in the first week of your delivery? And when we have done that, now you have a great product, great experience. We go back. Okay, what do you need to close them? What do you need to create authority, etc.? And so we move back, awareness stage to engagement stage, to making them ready to buy, to closing them, to retaining them, upselling, cross-selling. For each stage, we think, okay, what do they need? What can we build to make it wow? And what's the next step we invite them to? And then we create templates for that. And so now your business is on one page, very well described, This is how we get them interested. This is how we get them engaged. This is how we make them ready to buy. This is how we close them. This is how we deliver wow. And this is how we make them refer other people to us. Now that we have done this work, now you have a business. Before you have that, you have a job, maybe some cool projects or cool jobs or a series of jobs, but it's not a business. It's a business when it's written down like this. It works repeatedly, and it works also when you are on holiday. Because now that it's written down, now also other people can do it. This is when you start scaling, and this is a business, and this is the joy of a business. Now you are not a hustler anymore. Oh, I have to do this. Now you are more of a gardener. You pass by every day. This is your business. These are your plants, and you give them a little bit of water, a little bit of love here, a little bit of love here. You just show up every day, care a little bit, but it's much more enjoyable, and you watch it grow versus you have to push it every day.
So Simon, you obviously know this really well. How many people have you helped personally? And then how many has your company helped?
So in the last 21 years, I lost track, but the sprint was done by around 1,600 teams. Many of them, they share their experience here in the book, the case stories. Sometimes they tell the case stories. Sometimes I tell their story. For example, the foreword was done by Anthony Iannarino, who is an amazing sales guru, wonderful guy. You should have him on your podcast. And
great.
And
give us an introduction. I'd love to. Yeah.
He wrote the foreword after he sprinted himself to optimize his workflows with his team. And then he wrote the foreword describing that. And we have also many other client stories in here. And we have 160 client testimonials on our website, strategysprints.com. They describe how their business was before the sprint, after the sprint, how it felt, and what the outcomes were.
So how many, because I'm listening to you, I'm going, man, this sounds so great. I want to work with Simon. But how do you pick your coaches so that they're able to be as good as you are?
Yeah, so there is a certification process. We are a franchise. So there are people in Los Angeles, in Miami, in Shanghai, in Singapore, who are certified strategy sprints coaches.
Yep.
They have to qualify, they have to be entrepreneurial and have built some businesses. And then they can become a certified strategy sprints coach. This is 60 days of training with me. And then they have a monthly franchisee contract with me, an active contract. And every Monday, we meet to discuss the sprint dashboard of every client. So every Monday, they show me the marketing numbers, sales numbers, operations numbers of each client. And if they need some help, I am there. I am the coach of the coaches. And if there's something missing, they say, oh, Simon, there is no template about how to do joint ventures in the B2C world. Okay, then it's my job to build it in the next 48 hours and to ship it.
Beautiful. So that's why your Monday 8 to noon is that deep work. You're working with your coaches, and then your coaches are doing that. And that's how you're scaling you throughout the world.
Yeah. So everybody has to find their scalable model, right? For me, it was certifying other people, teaching other people. And at some point, I will not be even the head coach anymore. Somebody else is the head coach. And this is how we can help every time zone. And basically, there is no limit of how many people we can help per week to have more time and to have better sales. Yeah. But every year, I have to solve some bottlenecks. The first bottleneck was me. Yeah. Right. I have to get Simon out of operations, out of fulfillment. That was the main bottleneck.
How I'm really excited about this because I'm listening, and people on our podcast they are entrepreneurs, they are leaders, they are making a difference in the world, right? How does someone best engage you guys? What's the steps? What's the process?
They go to strategysprints.com. They read some of the client stories, some of the 160. And if it resonates with them, if they say, yeah, they describe exactly what I need right now and where I want to be. I want to double my revenue in 90 days. I want to have more free free time to work on the business because I want to enjoy the business growing and feeling like a gardener. And these people, they look like me. It's the industries, it's the kind of people that I am. And these are the kind of coaches that I want to hang out with and be challenged by and be supported by. Then you click, all right, let's talk to the team. And then you will talk to us and we will find out if we can help you.
And, you know, I by the way, you've got a great, my team prepares things for this, and your write-up, by the way, the picture sprinter, I liked it. Your write-up is awesome. You really tee up things well. You talk about like agile strategy, the 3 growth levers, how to maximize your return on luck. You know, we got here agile sales, you know, let referral teams do the sales for you, how to shorten the path to wow, you know, fall in love in the problem and with the problem. I love this because what you've done out of double your revenue in 9 days, you get people to lean in, you know, they go, wow, of course I want that. Bam. You know, there's a challenge here that you've identified, and then you're going to help them get there. Right. So you've done the work yourself. This is beautifully done. Right. Go ahead. You're about to say something.
I have to solve those problems every day, right? I have also to create my sales workflows, and it starts exactly with the awareness stage, right? I have to say, hello, here it is. There is something interesting we should talk about, right? And that's what you just showed. It's the marketing one pager, right? Hey,
Yeah.
let's talk about wow. Let's talk about doubling revenue. This is how, you know, I get attention and start the conversation. And so that
Yes.
must be the first part of every sales workflow. And this is what we work on in a sprint. Okay, how do you get the attention and start the conversation? And then it's how do you create value in that conversation? Because if you don't create value, there is no reason for them to say, okay, I want more. Hey, tell me more. Let's meet again. Let's go even deeper. Let's try out even harder things together. Right? That's a sales process, a B2B sales process. That's a B2B sales process. Awareness, interest, engagement, making them ready to buy, closing, which means really becoming business partners, having half the risk on my shoulders, half the risk on your shoulders, and now let's crush it. I want you to be successful. And how long does it take? For me, it takes 90 days. So this is the package. And whatever your package is, be very confident in your package because you know that it works. You know that you have curated every part every day for many weeks. So you know that it works and you can offer it with confidence and you believe it and it really delivers. And so then that's the package.
So why 90 days? I love you got 90 days, and this is the package that you're as a entrepreneur that you're providing to your clients, right? So why 90 days? What does it look like?
We tried very different packages for 21 years. We tried a year, 6 months, 6 weeks. We tried many things. And it turns out that for us to create what we want to create, so in the first month, we want to free up 10 to 14 hours of the CEO's time, of the owner's time. Then in the second month, we want to use those 10 to 14 hours to improve the sales system, which is exactly what we mapped out, right? From awareness to closing to upselling. That takes us around 4 weeks. And then when that is done, now end of the second month, they have now great operations and great sales. Now you have a business. So the third month is about marketing. Now let's tell the world about it. Now we have something wonderful. And we want to let the world know. What's the best way to let the world know? Now we want to really tell everybody. And so we create the marketing systems. And it's different from other programs. Many people start with marketing. They think marketing is the most important. We think operations is the most important. First, you have a product that works. Then you sell it because otherwise nobody knows that it works. And then you have to scale it over, different countries and enjoy the scaling part, because otherwise you're limiting yourself. And in business, we want to grow.
I think that's brilliant. I really agree with you on that flow. And most people do it just the opposite, right? It's the marketing. Okay, I got to get my message out there without getting clarity on what is the product and then the sales pipeline. So love that. That's great. What as we're wrapping up here, what do you want to be able to share? Because you've got such a beautiful process. By the way, I'm glad you put it in a book. Your wife was right, 10 years, okay, to do that.
Yeah.
I know it took me 10 years to get my ideas into a book called Fearless Success, because it never was at the level I wanted it. And finally, I just said, man, I got to put the effort into this. What else do you want to share with audiences? Because it's amazing what you've created here.
I would really share that if you now feel overwhelmed as a business owner, that's perfectly okay, because we all are. 95% is not in your control, and it will never be. What is really in your control, just focus on that. Daily habit. Focus on how are you allocating your time and what can you improve a little bit for about how you allocate it tomorrow. Is the flow right for you? What can you get off your plate? Like you showed very well that your team prepares you and then you come here and you crush it, right? So that's a system. So what can people prepare for you, document for you? What can you outsource, systemize? Then the weekly habit. Okay, think what are your 3 main goals for the next 90 days and pick one number each that shows you the weekly progress towards that goal. If you need a template, grab our template, strategysprints.com, but measure what is important to you, because what gets measured gets done. You put your attention there. That means energy goes there, and that means you get more done there. It's simple. And then the monthly, we didn't even talk about the monthly habit. The monthly habit is checking what's working against your competitors right now and what's not working, and cutting costs on the left side where it's not working. And I say the left side because our template, the equalizer template, calculates for you. On the left side, you will see the things where you should cut costs, and on the right side, you will see where you should invest more. Because on the left side, it shows you, hey, here you are losing against your competitors. So even if you increase your time and budget there, you will be mediocre against them, and you don't want to go for mediocre. So in the middle, you are man, they are man, nobody's really winning. So just reduce it there slightly. And then on the right side, this is where you're crushing it. So these are the 3 features. Maybe it's speed of delivery. Maybe it's the quality of your content. This is where you're crushing it. And so you cut on the left side for the next month's budget is 10% left. From the left side, you cut 10%, 15%, and you reinvest it on the right side where you are already winning. And when you are already winning in something and you invest 10% more time and money, you will crush it next month. That's the sprint budgeting process, which we do on a monthly basis, because it's the monthly budget of the next month.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How do you live your life? What are the principles? I love that first mantra that you gave us. What other things have you learned over life? You've learned a lot of things that you want to share. Maybe it's a quote, maybe it's a mantra, something like that. Yeah.
So for example, this weekend, I'm in a 3 days retreat where we think about our true self. So my concept of life is very simple. I think everybody is infinite potential and infinite energy right now. Everybody. There is nothing else. There is nothing missing. There is nothing to do. And we are all infinite potential right now. Everybody. And so that's how I try to see, when I meet somebody, I try to see the infinite potential in them and not what's missing or what's different or whatever. Infinite potential in front of me. And that's it. That's how I look at life. And whenever something happens where I feel the opposite, for example, I feel tired, or I feel grumpy, or in whatever negative feelings I have, I go, wait a moment, is this your true self? No, that's not my true self. Okay, do you want to engage with this movie right now? No, that's a boring movie. Okay, let's get back to what's really going on. Is infinite potential and infinite energy. That's the basic of how I orient myself.
It's beautiful.
And the rest is just showing up for the people I'm here to serve, and activating my energy, my love energy, my caring energy, showing up and coming from that place. It's kind of natural, right?
Yeah. How do you
I don't
go
have to do anything.
How do you go to bed at night? What's your habit? We talked about the morning, and I like the reflection piece at the end of the workday. But what's your routine to go in the evening, go into bed?
Oh, I'm terrible with evening routines.
Huh?
I I usually I read a book or I watch Netflix, but and I wake up very early in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I go running before the sun rises. So it's usually it's a boring evening. I have some times with my wife, and then I read or watch Netflix.
That's beautiful. You wind down. Yeah, I'll give you one hint from me. Something that works well with me is what I'm wearing. This glad to be here. When I go to bed, I always do what I call a glad to be here nightcap, which is just a review of what am I grateful for the day, right? And you already said it. It's part of your routine through the day, but the focus of it is what went well. What am I grateful for? And I replant those seeds into my mind as I'm falling asleep. And science has proved that when you do this, as you're sleeping, those seeds will grow, just like the water that you talked about, right? So gratitude's a big practice of mine. Do you use gratitude? And if so, how?
No, I should, but I don't. I tried journaling. I just forget about it. I don't do it. I tried different ways.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. I should, but I don't.
Well, like anything, like you said, 20 words, right? And so what I find is I make it simple, as I'm falling to bed, it just make it really simple. I'll be thinking of you tonight. Okay. That's why I'm going to that. As I go to bed, and I know it's later there in Vienna, I'm going to be thinking of you and all the great wisdom that you've provided everybody. I'll make sure that, in the show notes, and we've said it a lot, it's strategysprints.com, man. People should go there, check it out, check your book out. Personally, I'm going to let my team and I follow up with you also, not only from a standpoint of who else you think could really benefit on this show and in our audience, but you've said some things that I know I can work on and I want to work on. And I think everybody does. So what does glad to be here mean to you? As we wrap up, when this saying, and by the way, how do you say this let's go to your native tongue first, Italian. How do you say glad to be here in Italian?
Grazie di essere qui.
Oh, say that again. Grazie. I get that.
Grazie di essere qui.
Grazie di essere qui. Okay. I got to remember that because I'm going to Italy here in a month or so. Grazie della. Can you send that to me?
Yes, di essere qui. Grazie di essere qui.
Grazie di essere qui. Okay. And then how do you say it in Austrian?
Schön hier zu sein.
Oh yeah, schön hier zu sein.
Quite different, huh? It's a very different language.
Yeah. I was giving a presentation in Berlin, and that's how they did it. Schön hier zu sein. Yeah, grazie della Queen. Did I get that right? Grazie della Queen.
Dankbar hier zu sein, schön hier zu sein. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, but what does it mean to you? So we just said it in different languages, which is very interesting because there was a different kind of energy that came with those languages. What does it mean to you? Glad to be here.
I'm terrible at it. I never work that way. I always see what's next. And so that's why I have to remind myself. I have to remind myself that there is nothing to do and everything is fine. And then when I remind myself that, then automatically I'm much more calm and much happy. And then comes a natural happiness and a natural relaxed state and happiness and some joking and some fun and creativity comes back. So I'm usually in the opposite mode. Yeah. What's the next thing to create? What's the next thing to do? And then I remind myself, hey, there is nothing to do. There is nothing missing right now. And then I relax back into the now moment. And this is where I am much more enjoyable and much more creative. And everything is more fun and you see me laughing more.
Yes.
So that's why this practice of remembering is important for me.
Yeah. So what I like to think about is glad to be here is the combination of operational excellence, which you have laid out very clearly for an entrepreneur, with appreciation and gratitude. And when you combine those, you get what you just talked about. You get this state of flow. I love the feeling that you created in everybody. So I'm very grateful for this quick hour together. It went by super quick, but I'm grateful that you took the time. I'm grateful that my team got this all put together. And mostly I'm grateful for the people who are listening that they have something that can make a difference in their lives, both personally and professionally. So this has been awesome. Simon, I'll call you Sprinter now. I'm Gucci, by the way. I don't think I told you that. That's my call sign. An Italian, you ought to appreciate that.
Gucci, you have a new fan, and I am glad to be here.
Beautiful, buddy. Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Keep rolling, man. Bye-bye.